السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أخواني في الله, we're still continuing our lecture series regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment. We are at sign number 11, where the Prophet ﷺ he says, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يقاتل المسلمون ترك. The hour will not be established until you Muslims you shall fight the people of Turkish origin. In a different hadith, he describes what he means by the Turkish origin. He says, صغار الأعين, people with small eyes. حمر الوجوه, they have red complexion. ظلف الأنف, small noses that are very wide. And he continues, he says, كأن وجوههم المجان المطرقة, like their faces are beaten up shields. Their faces are round and they are very hard and thick. Ikhwani fillah, this is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. And we mentioned in the previous lectures the Mongolians and the Tatar. And we said that the coming or the appearance of these people and how they destroyed the Muslims, they almost ended Islam and Muslims for all of eternity. And we said in particular 3 of them are the worst when it comes to the Muslims. Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongolian Empire, his grandson Hulagu Khan, and one of the Shia Mongolians we'll take in the next lectures is called Timur Lenk. These are the 3 very worst Mongolians in our history. So in the year 656, the darkest day in our history, Ikhwani fillah, the very first time that the Islamic Caliphate collapsed in its entire history. This is the very first time the Muslim capital was captured. The city of Baghdad, the capital city, the most civilized city, the most beautiful city in the world, was destroyed by the Mongolians, and over 1 million Muslims lost their lives in 40 days of massacre. Baghdad, the city of the Dawla al-Abbasiyya, Baghdad of the Sahaba, this great city was destroyed. The Mongolians, after they destroyed Baghdad, and they took the Khalifa of the Muslims, they wrapped him in a carpet, and they stepped on him with their feet until he died because of all the stomping on his head and on his body. They left the city of Baghdad, destroyed, a city infested with disease. And they left the great betrayer Ibn al-Alqami, the Shia, to be the leader of Baghdad. But a betrayer never lives long. A betrayer never lives long. This man, after 3-4 months, he passed away. La'natullah alayh. The person who's known as the greatest betrayer in Islamic history, Ibn al-Alqami, the one who led the massacre of 1 million Muslims because of his betrayal. So Hulagu Khan, after he destroyed Baghdad, he took all the wealth that the Muslims had gathered there for over 500, 600 years, and he took it back to Iran. He took it to a place hidden in Iran. Thereafter he says to himself, what is the next thing I do to the Muslims? The hate he has in heart for the Muslims. He wants to destroy all of Islam and the Muslims completely. He says, after Iraq, the next place is Syria. I have to take care of the Muslims of Syria. There in Ikhwani fillah, after he has destroyed Baghdad, what do you expect the Muslims to do? Will the Muslims have the heart to say, oh, our brothers were massacred, our sisters were raped? What do we do as Muslims? We as the leaders, what do we do about Baghdad? What do you expect a Muslim leader to do? Ikhwani fillah, they continued with their betrayal. It was not sufficient for them to be part of the army of Hulagu Khan that besieged Baghdad and destroyed Baghdad. After that, they go to Hulagu Khan, give him gifts, tell him, thank you, you've done a great deed, you've helped the Muslims, and they give him gifts, and they pledge allegiance to Hulagu Khan. The great betrayer of Hims, Ashraf al-Ayyubi. The great betrayer of Damascus and Aleppo, Nasir ibn Yusuf. The great betrayer of Turkey, Kharj al-Salan. And the great betrayer from the land of Mosul, Badruddin al-Ulu. All these people, they gave the pledge of allegiance and gifts and hadaya to Hulagu Khan. Except one single man that had the izz of Islam. He says, no, my brothers are killed and they're massacred, and I stayed happy and I stayed glad, and I go give allegiance to this man. Wallahi, it shall never be. I shall never meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I've given pledge to allegiance to a man who has massacred millions and millions of Muslims. This is a man in the south of Turkey, a place called Mia Farkhin. He's called Al-Kamil Muhammad al-Ayyubi, from the grandsons of Nasruddin al-Ayyubi, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Al-Kamil Muhammad Al-Ayyubi. So he says, Wallahi, I'm not going to give any gift to this man. Between me and him is war. I declare jihad on the Mongolians. When Mongolians heard this, they got frightened. For this kalima, this word has a history. The entire world knows this word. But Hulagu Khan, he says, let me send an ambassador to him. I test this man. So he chooses a Christian Arab and sends to the leader of Mayfarkhin, the south of Turkey, southeast of Turkey, and northwest of Syria, northwest of Iraq. So the Christian comes and he talks badly to the leader, Al-Kamil Muhammad Al-Ayyubi. Al-Kamil, he says, you're from the Mongolians. And the Mongolians never keep their word. And they massacred the Muslims. Wallah, I shall do to you what shall give shifa fi sudur, that will give at least some form of joy to the hearts. And he killed this ambassador. This was a mistake, yes. In history or in the world politics, you are not supposed to kill a messenger. You are not supposed to kill an ambassador. It's not allowed. But because these people are not keeping their word, he acted upon them like they will act with him. So when he had this news, Hulagu Khan, he definitely declared war. Because this small cancer that is Mayfarkhin, that Muhammad Kamil, if he starts calling people to jihad, to fighting, perhaps other Muslims will also take this call and it will spread like a bushfire, and we as the Mongolians cannot fight this. So I have to take care of this problem immediately. He tells one of his sons, Ashmut, the son of Hulagu, he sends his own son, go attack this city of Mayfarkhin in the south of Turkey and use the allies around you to help you. So Mayfarkhin, Ikhwani Fillah, is based or located in a very dangerous place. In the eastern border is the country of Armenia and the country of Georgia. And these two are allies of the Mongolians. They assisted in the collapse or the massacre of Baghdad. So he has allies, Hulagu Khan has allies to the east. To the west he has allies from the Muslims, from the Seljuks. From the south he has allies from Halab. So this state of Mayfarkhin has allies who are allied to Hulagu Khan that are surrounding and besieging this country or small state of Mayfarkhin. But the Amir did not care. He says, for me, Islam comes number one. My Muslim brothers and sisters have been massacred. There's no way I can ally myself to someone who kills Muslims. However, he was besieged from everywhere. And he could not do much. But he fought gallantly, fought bravely. For 18 months in the besiege, the Mongolians were not able to conquer this state of Mayfarkhin. At the same time, Hulagu Khan, he receives delegations. But he was not happy with the delegation that came from Damascus. And Nasir Yusuf al-Ayyubi, he did not come by himself like the other leaders. He sent his son Aziz. So Hulagu Khan is wondering, why is this guy sending his son? Why did he come by himself? He has to come by himself, or else I shall deal with him. Nasir Yusuf sends gifts. He sends his son and tells him, Hulagu Khan, kindly assist me to give me a small army so that I can attack Egypt and conquer Egypt for myself. And this angered Hulagu Khan more. He says, you're conquering Egypt for yourself or not for me. I am the only ruler that's supposed to be under the heavens. Only the Mongolians can rule the entire world. You are my servant. How dare does a servant have a request? So he was not very happy with Nasir Yusuf. But this shows the akhlaq of the people of the time. Nasir ibn Yusuf, the Muslims of Mayfarkhin are besieged. They are pleading for food. They are pleading for medicine, weapons, assistance from their fellow brothers. But no one is assisting them. It is your problem. It is not our problem. Deal with your problem. It is not our problem. Like the ummah of the Muslims is not one ummah. So this was the state of Ikhwani Fillah. So Nasir ibn Yusuf, he receives this request from Hulagu Khan to come by himself. And this angers him. He gets very angry and he says, Wallahi, I'm not going to Hulagu Khan. I'm going to declare jihad from him to him. Damascus and Aleppo will not be the same as Baghdad. We shall show Hulagu Khan what we Muslims are made of. But this is a betrayer. You participated in the murder of Muslims in Baghdad, and now you're calling the Muslims to Quran. You're calling to the Muslims to jihad. Stop lying to us. You're not saying the truth. And he removes a section of his army and to the city of Damascus. And he says, people come. join the jihad, we're going to fight the Mongolians. But the people know him, you're a comedian. You're not saying the truth. You're only fighting for your kursi, your chair. That's the only thing that concerns you, not the plight of Muslims. If the plight of Muslims was concerning you, you would have assisted the Muslims in Mirfakhin. So this man, Nasir ibn Yusuf, declares jihad also. And his brother or his colleague, his Muslim brother in Mirfakhin, is being fought from all the sides. From the north, the east, the west, the south, he's been fought. Hulagu Khan, when he hears that Nasir ibn Yusuf has declared jihad on him, okay, I shall teach him a lesson. I have two options. I can attack Syria from the north, or I can attack from the south. The problem with the north is that there are too many mountains. There's the two great rivers of the Tigris and the Euphrates. It is a very long, tedious journey. That is the big problem geographically. But the benefit that I have is that all these areas are my allies. I know these people. Antakya is with the Christian leader Bohemond. Seljuk, Turkey is with Khalj Arslan. All these areas, Armenia, Georgia, all these are my allies. The second option, I can do like how Khalid ibn Walid did in the Battle of Yarmouk. Khalid ibn Walid left the Battle of Qadisiyah in Iraq and entered Anbar desert, and he shocked the Christians, the Byzantines in Yarmouk. They crossed this entire desert with a small army to assist the army of Abu Amr ibn Jarrah. He says, I'll do the same way as Khalid ibn Walid. Let me go through the desert. But it's also difficult. It's a desert. It's too hot. There's no food for my animals. So he chose the first option. He chose the longer option of going to attack from the north. So he takes his army from Hamadan in Iran. He crosses from Iran into Iraq. He crosses to Arbil, which is currently in Kurdistan in Iraq. He crosses to Mosul, where the great betrayer Badruddin al-Lu'lu was the leader. He crosses the Tigris, then crosses the Euphrates, and he lands in Syria. Then he starts massacring every Muslim village he can find in Syria. Then he has an option. He says, can I assist my son who's just 150 kilometers in Mirfakhin, who is besieging the state of Mirfakhin, or I can go attack the other cities of Halab, the city of Aleppo, one of the greatest cities in Syria. So he says, let me go attack Aleppo first. My son doesn't need me. I'm sure he'll win the battle. So he goes with his great army, Hulagu Khan, la'natullah alayh, and he besieges the city of Halab, the city of Aleppo. Besieges it completely. The Muslims, they fight bravely initially. Then fearful news reaches them. The Muslim state in Turkey, the state of Muhammad Kamil al-Ayyubi has fallen. The Muslims, all the Muslims in Mirfakhin have been killed except one man. Only one man was left alive. The great leader, the brave leader, rahimahullah alayh, al-Kamil Muhammad al-Ayyubi. Only the person who was left. So this man, his son Ashmut, he brings Al-Kamil Muhammad in chains to Hulagu Khan as he's besieging the city of Aleppo. The news reaches the people of Aleppo and their morale immediately sinks. They no longer have any morale to fight. But you people of Aleppo were also betrayers. Not only your leader was a betrayer, but you are betrayers also. Your fellow Muslims who have been massacred in Mirfakhin, they're asking you, they're pleading for food. They're pleading for medicine. They're pleading for weapons, for your assistance, and you betrayed them. Your day has now come, the people of Aleppo. Don't think that it will stop with your brothers. It will reach you eventually, that fire. So you betrayed them. This is your day. So after 7 days of being besieged, Hulagu Khan tells them, I shall give you peace. I shall give you security. Before he gives them this peace and security, he says, let me deal with this leader of Mirfakhin, Al-Kamil Muhammad. I'll teach him a lesson. So he's chained. He comes, he cuts pieces of his meat one by one, and he feeds it to him. Eat your meat, eat your meat. And he's cutting the Amir meat, until the Amir, rahimahullah, his soul left him, and he went to Jannah, nahsabuhu kadhalik, wallahu hasibuh. And he died. Hulagu Khan didn't stop there. He cut off the head of the Amir and put it on his spear and made sure it goes around every place of Syria to show anyone that dares to rebel, dares to fight against him, this is your end. So do not even dare to fight the Mongolians. This man was foolish enough to try Muhammad al-Kamil. You shall have the same ending. So he's killed the leader of Mirfakhin. The Muslims of Halab, they differ. A group of them, they say, let us surrender. 7 days. We have fought for 7 days bravely. Let us open the gates. Let us accept the peace agreement from Hulagu Khan. A small group, the leader included at the time, Turan Shah, the uncle of Nasir ibn Yusuf, he says no. He says he and a group of the Mujahideen, they shall put themselves in a castle and they shall fight until either Allah destroys them or destroys the Mongolians. They cannot stay in this world, either us or them. So they refused the agreement that the people of Aleppo did. So the people of Aleppo, they foolishly go open the gates for Hulagu Khan. And the army of the Mongolians enter the city of Halab, the city of Aleppo. This is the year 657 of the Hijri calendar. And these Mongolians, they have a history. Since their grandfather, Genghis Khan, they never keep their word. They never keep a promise. They tell you, we'll give you peace. Once you accept that, and they massacre you. So the people of Halab, when they opened the gates and the Mongolians entered the city of Halab, they started massacring Muslim by Muslim, raping the women, killing the children, the old men, the young men. Every person in the city of Aleppo was killed. Hundreds of thousands of Muslims lost their lives in the year 657. Thereafter, Hulagu Khan, he notices, those guys are the ones who are fighting us. Turan Shah and his group. He besieges the castle for 4 weeks. The Muslims fight. They fight bravely against an army of hundreds of thousands of Mongolians. But they can't fight them. So Hulagu Khan conquers the castle, captures, kills all the Muslims except one man, Turan Shah, who was the leader of the castle of Aleppo. Thereafter, he's killed everyone. He takes Turan Shah with him. He goes, he conquers another place called Harib, kills everyone. He goes near Antakya. He makes an agreement with the Christians of Antakya. This all in the year 657 of the Hijri calendar. Thereafter, he goes to the city of Damascus to meet the brave leader, brave in big quotes, the brave leader Nasir ibn Yusuf. So Nasir ibn Yusuf hears that Hulagu Khan is coming towards him. What is the brave man going to do? What is he going to do? He ran away like the coward he was. He's a grandson of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. You expect him to have at least the blood of braveness that Salahuddin Ayyubi, till today we remember him. But he was a khain, he was a betrayer. He ran away with his entire army, leaving the city of Damascus to whatever end Hulagu Khan will determine. So Hulagu Khan, he comes towards the city of Damascus. He passes through Hims. Hims is handed to him freely. He doesn't do anything to them because they played a part in conquering of Baghdad. Al-Ashraf al-Ayyubi, the leader of Hims, was part of the army that conquered Baghdad. He conquers Hama and he comes to Damascus and finds no one there. The people of Damascus, Ikhwani Fillah, they gathered a few of the elders, a few of the religious people, the few of the leaders of society, and they handed the keys to Hulagu Khan. They handed the keys to the Christian leaders of Armenia and Georgia, and Damascus, the capital city also of Islamic State of the Dawla of Umayyah, it also collapsed in the year 657 of the Hijri calendar. Ikhwani Fillah, this, as we mentioned in the previous class, was one of the most difficult centuries, if not the most difficult centuries for the Muslims. We lost Jerusalem in this century. One of the grandchildren of Salahuddin Ayyubi, he gave it for free to the Christians in this century we were talking about. We lost Baghdad. We lost Damascus, we lost Aleppo, we lost the great capital cities of Islam, and the only city that was remaining was the city of Cairo, the city of Egypt, the capital city of Egypt, Fustat. So, as Hulagu Khan is entering the city of Damascus, news reaches him. Subhanallah. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans, they plan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans. He got news that his brother, the great Khan, Moghi Khan, had passed away. Hulagu Khan, the great leader he was, and the great position he had amongst the Mongolians, had to rush back so that he can also be chosen as the leader of the Mongolians. He wanted to be chosen as the leader of the Mongolians. But he was very far from Mongolia at the time. It was thousands and thousands of kilometers. So he leaves the city of Damascus, does not enter. He allows his army, led by a man called Qatbu Gawain, to enter the city of Damascus. And he goes back to reach Mongolia if he can. He reaches a place called Tabriz in Iran, and he hears that the Mongolians have chosen Kublai Khan as the new leader of the Mongolians. Ikhwani Fillah, this is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. the coming of the Mongolians, the coming of the Tatar. They have destroyed the countries of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, all this area, Iran. They have destroyed Iraq. They have destroyed parts of Turkey. They have destroyed part of Syria. They have conquered Lebanon. They have conquered Palestine. And the only thing left is Egypt. Will they conquer Egypt? Is this the end of Islam? Is this the end of the Muslims? Or will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give Muslims a victory that is not only important in Islamic history, but in world history? What is the battle that the Muslims are going to fight against the Mongolians and finish the Mongolians and destroy them and give so much joy to the Muslims that the Muslims till this day, they remember the day of Ainu Jalut, the year 658 of the Hijri calendar. In the forthcoming lecture, Ikhwani Fillah, after this period of darkness, after this period of massacre, وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِنَصْرِ اللَّهِ يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. The day of victory is coming, the day of Ainu Jalut. This is what we shall look at in our forthcoming lecture. Wallahu alam, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.